Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Learn Live channel and today's Safe and Sound broadcast. Safe and Sound is a project set up by Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service with the aim to support communities to make informed and positive lifestyle choices, improving their health, safety and well-being with some safety tips and tricks. This project runs a variety of interactive and practical workshops for people of all ages and is delivered by multiple partner organisations. But first, before we begin, please remember that if you have any questions, please use the live moderated chat facility next to the video player. We had some great questions in last week, all about what was being seen on screen, so keep them coming in. If you leave a question on the live chat, one of our speakers will get back to you as soon as possible. First, to start this broadcast, we have Chief Fire Officer Becky from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. Becky will be going through what today will entail and how important the information that is being shared actually is. Then I'll be handing over the rest of the broadcast to Paul Carter. Paul works for Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service within the Safe and Sound project, and he'll be hosting the rest of the Safe and Sound broadcast. But first, over to Becky.
Hello everyone, I'm Becky Bryant, the Chief Fire Officer of Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. As some of you will know, we usually deliver Safe and Sound with our partners at our community fire stations around the county. Some of you might recognise the people in these programmes if you've been lucky enough to attend a Safe and Sound event. In light of the current situation, we've adapted what we usually do to an online version, and I'm really excited to tell you about our latest approach. This sees a new Safe and Sound online programme being released every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock for the next 12 weeks. Our partners have developed exciting new workshops to help you stay safe and sound while you're at home or on your daily exercise. These messages are for you to learn from and to then share with your family and your carers. Our mission as a fire and rescue service is to make Staffordshire the safest place to be. And these programmes will show you how you can play your part in making that happen. In this week's programme, we have one of our service volunteers talking to you about safety in the kitchen when cooking. HMB Training are discussing what to do if there's an accident at home. There's a talk about water safety and something on relaxation and emotional well-being. Every week will be different partners and different topics. I'm sure that you'll find them interesting and helpful. We will endeavour to restart Safe and Sound in Staffordshire again as soon as we can at our fire stations across the county. Thank you for helping to keep everyone safe and sound. Please stay at home, protect our NHS and save lives. I hope you all enjoy today's programme.
Welcome to week 2 of Safe and Sound. You may recall I am Paul from the Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. This week, wearing part of my corporate uniform. This week, we hopefully have a slightly more professional looking session, hence me being smartened up. Thank you for all your questions last week. Wow, keep them coming. This week, I'll ask you a question after each of the topics. If you could type your answers in the live chat area, which is always next to the video screen area, as you know, for your use. Thank you. This week, we have the fire service talking about toaster safety, Network Rail talking about rail safety, HMB Heather talking about the recovery position, and all the way from Crewe, the GIST safety team talking about safety around large vehicles. And as always, we'll finish with Nikki. This week it's week 2 of her relaxation workshops. So let's get cracking. First up is Ken talking about toasters.
Well, hi, we meet again. My name is Ken Tillett and from the Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. I need to talk to you this morning about the old toaster. Now, the one thing that you must do when you go to bed is to take the plug out and switch the socket off. That means it will stay safe overnight. Another thing is, if you get a piece of toast stuck in there, do that, switch it off, pull the plug out, but don't start going in there with a knife to try and get your toast out. Very, very dangerous. Do not do that. Now, the other thing is that toasters actually get a lot of breadcrumbs build up in the bottom. So we suggest probably once a week that you pull the trays out and empty the breadcrumbs out. And then you can be sure that that is not going to catch fire. So from Ken Tillett, thank you very much for listening. Please stay safe and sound, and I'll talk to you again later about other things in the kitchen. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you, Ken. Short and sweet. So the question for Ken's topic is, how often should you empty the crumb tray of your toaster? Answers at the end, but please put yours in the live chat area now. And now to Lisa from Network Rail, talking about rail safety matters.
Hi, my name's Lisa Lewis and I'm a Community Safety Manager at Network Rail. At Network Rail, we own the train tracks, so we work to maintain them and keep them safe so the train companies can run their trains across them and carry their passengers nice and safely where they want to go. During these times, we're classed as key workers. So there's lots and lots of people at Network Rail out on our front line, in our offices, still working to make sure we can keep the trains running, not just for people that are still travelling into work, but also for our freight trains to run that are carrying goods across the country for the NHS and for lots and lots of other places. I'd like to speak to you today about level crossing safety. At Network Rail, we own all the level crossings and lots of our level crossing managers are still out and about doing all their checks to make sure our level crossings are kept nice and safe. Lots of us are going out each day for our daily exercise. That's taking us out on walks to places we wouldn't normally always go, and sometimes across level crossings. I just want to go through today some key safety messages to make sure you understand the dangers when you're at a level crossing and how to use it nice and safely. We're just going to go over to Megan now. Megan's one of our level crossing managers and she's actually standing at one of our level crossings. We have two kinds of level crossings. There's a vehicle or a barrier crossing that you drive across in your car and can also walk across, and also foot crossings. Megan's going to talk to you about some things to do when you're using a level crossing to make sure you keep yourself nice and safe. So over to Megan.
Thanks Lisa. My name's Megan and I'm a level crossing manager for Network Rail. I'm here at Four Lane Ends in Ormskirk this morning. One of my jobs is to educate people on how to stay safe when on or near the railway or at level crossings. A level crossing is a point that you cross the railway. You might do it in a car, on your bike or on foot, like at the level crossing behind me, which has warning lights, barriers and an alarm to tell you when a train is approaching. There are around 20 different types of level crossings, so not all signs and equipment will always be the same. It's really important that you stop, look and listen before deciding if it's safe to cross. Just because the person in front of you has crossed, don't assume that it will always be safe. You still have to stop, look and listen before you cross the railway. It's important to remember a few things to help keep yourself safe. Trains are fast and can travel up to 125 miles per hour. Imagine the length of 20 football pitches laid end to end. That's how long it can take a train to stop. They can't swerve around things like a car can on the road, so please make sure you're always giving yourself enough time to cross the railway. If you're using a level crossing, it's really important that you have all of your senses available so that you can concentrate on staying safe. That means removing your earphones, putting your phone away and getting off your bike and scooter. If you have a dog, make sure that it's on the lead. When you cross, don't be tempted to stop halfway. If you're waiting and the barriers remain down, it usually means that there's another train coming, so don't be tempted to weave the barriers. We want to make sure that you're safe when on or around the railway, so please remember to stop, look and listen when using level crossings. Thanks for listening and please stay safe around the railway.
Thank you, Megan. I'm now just going to go over some of the key safety messages Megan talked about. Now please remember, our trains are running at a different timetable. Never presume you know when the next train is going to pass. Following government guidelines, our services are increasing and our train times are ever changing. So please, please, please always stop, look and listen when at a level crossing. As Megan mentioned, always keep your dog on a lead. Always take your headphones out and put your phones in your pocket. You mustn't have any distractions as you go over a crossing. Please get off your bike or your scooter and walk across sensibly to the other side. And remember, please stay safe. Thank you.
Stop, look, listen.
Thank you, Lisa and Megan. Remember, trains and railway stations are perfectly safe when you use them properly. The question for this topic is, how many Premier League football pitches does it take to stop a high-speed train? Your answer into the live chat area, please, and I'll give you the actual answer at the end. And now Heather talking about the recovery position.
Hi, welcome to HMB Training Services. I'm Heather and this is Chelsea, my helper for the duration of this video. I'm going to teach you what to do going through Dr. ABC again on the previous episode from HMB Training. And we are going to go through a recovery position. So if we have seen somebody on the floor, what do we need to do? So it's important, first of all, before we jump in and assess this casualty, it's very important that we actually check for ID. So our D is standing for danger. So when we're approaching our casualty, it's important that we move any dangers, any obstacles out the way, because we don't want to get hurt. We don't want another casualty. One's enough. So once we move the dangers out the way, then we go and check for R, which is
response.
Response. So it's important to check response. So tap them, talk to them, give them some instruction. Then we are going to S. It's important to get help. So our S is shout. So we shout for help, and it's important to get somebody from the household. If there's nobody in, there's only me and you and somebody else, then we've got loads of avenues to actually check. So we could shout to the neighbour, shout and open the front door, or we can just make a phone call to a family member. Once we've shouted for help and help's with us, then we need to check the A. And the A is
airway.
Airway. So we're checking for the airway. And we're checking if there's nothing inside. So make sure there's no obstacles in the way. Then while the airway is open, then we can check for B,
which is breathing.
Yeah. So we're going to check, listen for breaths, feel for breaths, and we do that and check that for 10 seconds. So once we have checked for breathing for 10 seconds, hopefully they are responsive. They might have been making a noise. They might have actually spoke to you, which is great. If not, they might be absolutely quiet and they won't be moving. But you could possibly understand within that 10 seconds that the chest is moving. And we can check the C, which is
circulation.
So once we check for circulation, the colour is in good colour and they're not blue, they should have some colour in the cheeks. Then we can move them in the recovery. Before we move in the recovery, double check that there's no further injuries or any broken bones or any bleeding. So the casualty hasn't got any further injuries. Then we can move him in the recovery position. So the recovery position, you've got two ways that we can remember this. We've got the funky dab, how we teach it in Safe and Sounds and when we are in the fire stations. So the funky dab is, we know the dab like so, but obviously we don't leave our hand here, we do a face slap. So we do the funky dab, and as we put this hand up to our head, we lift up the same leg, okay? So, like so. So when we're doing the funky dab, arm out the way, face slap, leg up. So how we remember it is, the other way is stop, leg up, face slap, then we can move them onto that side. So the first thing we need to do is check for dangers, clear the area. There might be a wire or a piece of glass or something or water on the floor, so it's important that we recognise dangers and if possible move them out the way. Then we're going to check response, and it's important that we get a reaction or some grunts or any movement from our casualty. So what we need to do is talk to them in their ear and give some response and see if they respond back. So Chelsea, can you hear me? Chelsea, if you can hear me, open your eyes. Chelsea, can you hear me? So she's not grunting, she's not moving her eyes, and when I do ask her an instruction, you watch them. So it could be wriggle your fingers, and we watch to see if they can wriggle their fingers or not. So they're not responding, so now it's important to shout for help. So you shout somebody in your household that can hear you and shout them and get their help to come and help you. Then we need to check the airways. So checking the airway, we would use our hands, chin and forehead and move the head back. So move the head and then forehead and chin and move the head back, open the mouth, and we're making sure there's nothing in their airway. Could be food, they could have choked, they could have got sick in there, so make sure there's nothing blocking their airway. Then we're going to check the breathing, so we're going to listen for breaths on our cheek, look down and see if the chest is rising. We do that for 10 seconds. So listening, looking down and checking the chest. I can hear and I can feel her breathing correctly, and her chest is rising and I saw that about 3 times within that 10 breaths. Then I need to, circulation's great, she's got colour and she's not blue or pale. So before we move them into recover position, we need to make sure there's no further injuries. So it's a quick head to toe survey, make sure there's nothing broken, no bleeding, and everything feels normal. So we look at the head and check for any blood or any deformities, then we check the shoulders, that they're solid, then we check the arms separately, and then we check them together. We make sure the chest is okay, then we move down to make sure that the hips and the chest, that's okay and it's firm. Then, as we do with the arms and the legs are the same as the arms, and we check and pat down the legs and make sure that there's no deformity with either legs. I'm happy that she hasn't injured herself, and then I can move her in the recovery position. So the first thing we need to do on our funky dab is move the arm that's closest to me. So the arm that's closest to me, I'm going to stop. So this is the arm that's closest to me, and I move it out the way, so stop. Then I can move on the opposite side of the body. So we will move the leg next, and then we will hold that leg with our right arm, and then I would move the hand down with my left hand. And then what we would do then is face slap. So stop, leg up, face slap, then we would move the casualty in front of us. It's important to move that leg in right angles. Then we would move the head back. Then I will continue doing the Dr. ABC until the ambulance arrives. So after we've moved them in the recover position, call 999, then continually check for dangers, check that they're responsive, check that airways are okay, check the breathing, so we're constantly sitting with our hand in front of their face. So my hand in front of their face and checking that they are constantly breathing, and that's a constant check. So we're not going to check for danger, check response, and then go for the toilet and then come back down and check for the breathing. We're constantly sitting in front of them, checking the breathing and checking that they are got good circulation. Then we will sit there until the ambulance arrives and check that the casualty is okay.
Thank you for watching. See you soon.
Thank you, Heather and Chelsea. The question for this topic: you see a casualty on the floor, what do you need to check before you assess them? Answer in the live chat, please. Okay, and now a very warm welcome to Learn Live for GIST.
Hello and welcome to the GIST workshop. Over the next few weeks we are going to be talking about road safety and being safe around all types of vehicles, especially lorries. Hi, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Tracy.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Chloe.
Hi, I'm Mervyn. Hi, I'm Ian.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Altogether, we make up the school's road safety team here at GIST at the Crewe depot.
So, what do GIST do? We drive lorries that deliver food and drinks for people to buy at the shops throughout the day and the night, every day of the year, including Christmas Day. Now, I'd like Santa's job because he only works one day a year. But then again, every year he seems to get the sack. Anyway, these two logos, do any of you know what they are? We'll give you the answers at the end of the presentation. In 2019, Crewe delivered to 141 UK stores, including 9 motorway services, 18 BP garages, 8 hospitals, 5 railway stations. We also delivered to 19 Irish stores. That's around 7 million miles. There are lots of lorries on our roads, so we need to know how to be safe around them. Gist lorries as a whole drive 120 million miles every year. That's the same as driving to the moon and back 252 times every year, or around the world 93 times every week. Anybody wants to go on holiday to the moon? Don't bother, because there is no atmosphere. How much fuel did Crewe Depot use in 2019? 38,904 litres per week. That's 2 million litres per year. We have our own pumps in our depot. This means we get our fuel a little bit cheaper, about £1 a litre. The question is, how much is that in total? So, why are we interested in road safety? Well, by the size of the children against that vehicle, you can see how dangerous they can be. More than 15 children are hurt on our roads in the UK each day. We want everybody to take care, be safe and be seen. Lorries and other vehicles on our roads can be very dangerous. So now we get to facts and figures. How much does this lorry weigh? This lorry weighs up to 44 tonnes, which equates to 76 cows. They are all there apparently. Now then, you would not walk out in front of 76 cows. You would, Tracy?
Move out the way.
And then you would, Ian?
Cross over to the other side.
You would cross over to the other side. Thank you. Lorries are big and heavy, so cannot stop quickly. Something we will be talking about later on in another workshop. So we've established they're heavy, they're also very long. How long do we think this lorry is? Well, it's actually the length of 4 cars, which equates to 16.5 metres. Lorries are very long, making it difficult for the driver to see people. They create what we call blind spots, something, again, we will be talking about at a later date. So now we have a double deck trailer. This means you can have a floor that lifts up. Now that can carry lots and lots of food. In this instance, it's sandwiches. Now, how many sandwiches do we think will fit in this lorry? Now then, here we go. They're not all on here because there'd be far too many. But it is 22,000 packs. And that would take you 60 years to eat that many sandwiches if you ate 1 pack every day. That means you would eat them from now till when you retire. But you young children probably never will retire. It's called the government. Ask your parents or your teachers when you get back to school. This is a double-decker.
Wagon and drag.
This is a rigid.
Trailer.
So, as you've seen from the short clip that was showing some of the vehicles driven past, here we have a photo. Which of these vehicles is the most dangerous to you? And the answer is all of them. In fact, anything that can be moved around on wheels can cause injury. Over the next few workshops, our team will be talking to you about different subjects regarding road safety, such as driver blind spots and walking on or near the road, and also in the countryside. Thank you for watching our short road safety film. We have highlighted a few things that you should be aware of when you are out and about. Next time we will be talking about the Green Cross Code. Stop, look, listen. So, from all the team,
stay safe and sound.
Thank you, team. Some great safety information there and more to come in future weeks. The question for GIST then is, can you remember how many children are hurt on UK roads every day? Thank you. And finally to Nikki for part 2 of her workshop, this week, relaxation methods.
Hi, my name's Nikki. I run a company called Calm Careers, and it's my job to help you feel a little bit better, feel a little bit stronger, and know what you want to do with your life. My company looks at careers advice, life coaching, and teaching relaxation skills. And one of the most important things for me is that people feel happy and confident, and that they feel okay with who they are. And we all have good days and we all have bad days. But it's about having more of those good days and about how we look around and help each other too. So we're going to do some breathing techniques first of all. So the way that we do a relaxing breath is that we breathe in through our nose with our mouth closed, and we breathe out gently through our mouth like we've got a hot chip. We're breathing in gently and we're breathing out gently. I'm going to do that a couple more times. And it helps if you've got some nice music on in the background, or if somebody's sitting next to you holding your hand while you're doing it. Just somewhere where you feel comfortable. Or even if you're having a bad day, those are the times where you really need to practice those breathing to stop you being so angry or worried or anxious or just upset by stuff. You might be finding at the moment that things are bothering you a lot more than they normally would. And that's because that part of our brain that looks after us and makes us feel safe is going a bit cray-cray at the minute. It's not really sure what's happening, not really sure when we'll be going back to school or when we'll see our friends or our family again. So it's a little bit hyperactive. So we might need to do quite a bit more of this breathing to help us. Just breathing in through our nose and breathing out through our mouth.
Oh, sorry, I was asleep there. So relaxed, Nikki. Thank you very much. So, the question for Nikki's section. How did Nikki tell you to breathe to help you to relax? In through what and out through what? Answers on the live chat section, please. Okay, thank you everyone. Some fantastic answers there for me to check, I'm sure. The correct answers are, from Ken's question, number 1, the crumb tray once a week. So I hope you got that one right. distance to stop a train. This is Lisa's question on rail safety. 20 Premier League football pitches. That, guys, is a long way. Okay, the answer to the next question. D, for dangers before approaching a casualty. The number of children hurt on the roads every day is 15. Too many. And how to breathe, it's in through the nose and out through the mouth. I hope you got them all right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and for your live chat questions today. Stay safe. See you next week with more important messages from our special partner organisations. Take care.
Perfect.
Brill.
Done and dusted.
Done and done. In the can.
In the can.
Thank you, Paul, for hosting this extremely important broadcast today. And like Paul said, there'll be more of these broadcasts coming up over the next few weeks, so please keep watching. I just want to say another thank you to all the speakers today. The tips that you've given us are so valuable to know, so thank you. And as Paul said, if you have any questions for our speakers today, please continue to leave them in the moderated live chat facility next to the video player, where they will get back to you as soon as possible. That's all for us today. See you next week as we have more speakers from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue partners and agencies. You don't want to miss it. Bye for now and stay safe.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
near the railway and help educate others. But before we do, here's Tom's story.
Oh no! He gives it away! Oh. Is anyone there? Come on, go over! Right, get your leg up. Yeah. Ooh, look. Yeah.
Come on, Tom. Come on.
Oh, go on, Lloyd. Go on, Tommy boy.
Come on, Tom.
Come on, Tom. Go on,
I miss Mum.
Hi, I'm Nick Jordan, and I'm the Head of Health, Safety and Environment Improvement at Network Rail. I'm here to spread the you versus train message to as many of you as possible. As you've just seen in that video, Tom Hubbard, when he was 16 years old, chose to venture onto the railway tracks and climb on top of a train in June 2014. He had no idea that that decision would change his life forever. Everything you saw in that video happened to Tom. On the night, he'd just finished his GCSEs. He accidentally kicked the football while out with his friends over the fence and went to go and get it. Whilst he was on the tracks, he decided to climb onto the roof of a freight train and was knocked off his feet from 25,000 volts of electricity. That's 100 times stronger than your supply at home. He was lucky to be alive. Here's an interview with Tom and his mum Siobhan, who tells us what happened next.
I remember the consultant the next day saying mainly because of the infection, he says the next 24 hours are crucial, he could die at any moment. When he got to the burns unit, there was so much burnt skin, what they had to do was take him to theatre and just scrape all the, to see the extent of the burns. So there's only so much skin they can use to skin graft somebody, so sometimes you have to have artificial. So his stomach and chest area, they used artificial until they could.
The physical injuries as a result were 57% burns to the torso, partially arms, and then partial neck. Oh, the implications after were just literally on every single task. It was just, you had to customise it for your own ability really again.
If the accident hadn't happened, he was very interested in engineering, and I think he would have pursued that. So he missed out the last sixth form, maybe uni, maybe college. It's not like breaking a leg or breaking an arm, it's life. This is for life. You'll never recover from it. So, like Thomas was 16, he'll have this for the rest of his life.
That interview shows it's not only you that suffers with the aftermath of such an event like this, but also your parents and loved ones. They have to see what happens and what the effect might be on them. The video I'm about to show you next is a story inspired by true events. In this story, Dan's character decided to take a shortcut across the railway tracks to meet his friend. As he crosses the tracks, he was hit not by a train, but by the 750 volts of direct current from the electrified third rail. If you touch the third rail, it will suck you in and not let go until the power is turned off. Here's Dan's video.
And this is a beautiful sight. Dan is free, cuz. Get yourself down here ASAP.
Reggie, I think I found it.
I'll be here with you soon.
Powers off, safe to approach. He's on the third rail. Extensive third-degree burns.
Hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes if you can hear me.
Hi sweetheart, my train's been delayed. Kids on the track apparently. You're gonna have to sort your own dinner, I'm afraid. Just give me a text when you get this. Love you.
Whilst there is no average age for trespassing, research shows nearly 30% of trespass incidents involve under 18s, with many involving more than one person and the vast majority being male. There were 22 trespass-related deaths in the 2000 to 18-19, compared with 35 the previous year. Although the death toll has fallen, the numbers of incidents are still increasing. This is the time to try and turn it around. The next video we will be showing is Tegan's story, and again, what can happen when you step onto the third rail. She was coming home after spending the day with friends, and she found herself on the wrong platform to catch the train. She ran across the tracks to get onto the other platform, not realising that the third rail was live with those 750 volts of electrical current going through it. Tegan was electrocuted. The power ran through her body, straight across her heart, and she went into cardiac arrest. Tegan's heart stopped for 7 minutes. She was left with third-degree burns over 10% of her body. She had to undergo a massive amount of surgery and therapy, which included having to relearn how to talk, eat, and walk again. And she still has many more operations to go. Here is her story.
We never expected that we'd get that phone call.
She made one rash decision and it nearly cost a poor girl her life.
We didn't know what was going on. No one would tell us anything.
For it to actually happen on your station, on your shift.
That day will never leave my mind.
I woke up, thought, oh, it's a nice day, I'm gonna go to the beach today. Me and my friend were on the beach, like having a laugh, having a little drink. I can't fully remember it, but we somehow got back to the station. My friend was on one side of the platform and I was on the other side. I don't know what I was doing on the other side. And I thought the fastest way was to go over the tracks. I ran onto the track just thinking nothing of it. I didn't know there was a third rail that was live. I was electrocuted and I had a cardiac arrest.
I saw Tegan wedged between the running rail and the electric live rail. She was on fire.
The electric had gone in through my left armpit and it had gone across my heart into my right arm. There was 2 men that helped me off the track and the lady, and she gave me CPR.
She was pumping her chest so hard, and the smell of burning flesh. She was completely black.
I wasn't alive for 7 minutes. So the paramedics came, they airlifted me, and I spent 5 months in hospital. I spent 2 months in intensive care.
She was in an induced coma. She was in and out of surgery. We just didn't know what injuries she was going to have, like lifelong injuries.
I think intensive care was probably one of the hardest things I've ever been through.
She learnt how to walk again, how to eat. She couldn't really talk, she was just always smiling. She had to learn how to move her fingers and she had to learn to do everything with her left hand.
This is a bear that I got when I was in intensive care. My little brother LJ, he'd always come up to the hospital. Every time I was upset, it would remind me of him.
Her long-term injuries are just learning to move her fingers again and try and straighten her arm because she has loads of scarring under her arm.
I had to have so much physio to actually get my arm, and now I can just fully move it up.
She had to have a whole new nerve put into her arm.
Like my leg, so I've got quite a bit of a dent in there now. I've got 10% burns. They were 3rd degree burns where I had to have like skin grafts all over.
So yeah, she's definitely lucky to be here.
The accident has left me to deal with the really severe burns and skin grafts all over my body.
She covers a lot up that she's not bothered by her scars, but she has times where she does get down.
I feel like I won't be able to like show my body again because of my scars, and I feel like I'll get judged, and I don't really want to be judged because people can be quite nasty about things. Just always think that no one was like ever gonna love me like again, like how they did before. And I'd always think I'm never gonna be like the old me again. Sorry. The way everyone helped me has made me realise that in the future I need to help other people as well. I'm going to be a psychologist for burns because I can put myself in their shoes and help them out. When I went back to the train station and I met John for the first time, it was so strange.
I admire you for coming down and do this. It must have been horrendous, but you're such a brave young woman.
It seemed like I meant so much to like a stranger.
Seeing her today has made me a happy guy. She is one remarkable young woman.
They saved my life, and without them I wouldn't even be here.
I'm so happy that I've seen you today. We're truly blessed.
I want to get the message out that there's dangers out there. You need to care for yourself and know that there's consequences for the actions that you do take.
Because it doesn't just impact you. One small thought can save all the pain that you can put yourself and your family through.
I want people to learn from my mistake, and I also want everyone to be aware and be safe.
That was Tegan's story. It just goes to show that the railway, whether it be on a line in the middle of nowhere or the railway lines in a train station, is a dangerous place to be, and not to be taken lightly. Dangers are both hidden and visible, and they are always present. These stories all tell us that we need to be sensible and safe while on or next to the railway, and what can happen if we don't. However, it's not just the people in the videos that get hurt. It's also the parents, their loved ones, and the people working on the railway that experience these tragic accidents.
Tom was killed. Tom was killed virtually instantly.
They'd set the camera up on a timer. Jessie then ran to join her group. She tripped and fell, and she landed on the conductor rail.
And his body was taken all the way along the track, and his body was not recognisable.
The train was approaching at 75 miles an hour when it approached Brian from behind, and he couldn't hear it because he was listening to music. Just by that simple mistake, he threw it all away.
She entered the railway from a level crossing and decided to walk on the railway line.
Emily turned and she fell, and the train came through and took her out.
Hannah slipped onto the live conductor rail. I personally hope for her sake that she died instantly, because if she didn't, it would have been absolutely horrific for her.
It's horrendous. You have a job to do, and you have to do that job. And sometimes you do remember certain incidents you go to. All I could hear was a mother screaming.
It's never pleasant, but I have a job to do, and you're trained to do it, so you get on and do it.
A sense of sadness, extreme sadness. Every time I attend one, I hope that this is the last one I ever have to attend.
I don't ever want to see my family look like that. Never.
You only get one chance and you cannot mess around near to 750 volts, near 400 or 500 tonnes worth of trains in a very, very dangerous environment. It simply isn't worth it.
Never, ever, ever play around on a railway. It's a dangerous, dangerous place. I'm trained in it and I still don't like it.
I've seen what a train can do. I've seen what electricity can do. And just devastation that will be wrought on everyone you know. So don't do it. That would be what I would say.
So, as you can see in that video, any incident on the railway can affect hundreds of people. You probably thought they were the parents at the start of that video, and it wasn't. It was railway employees, it was British Transport Police staff, it was people like me, who when these incidents happen, we have to get involved. That can be anything from on-site, where the person may be, treating them, seeing their injuries. Most of the time, our staff can be the last person to see that person alive. That's why it's really important that you remember the lessons from today. Share them with friends and family who you think need to know. And please, stay safe in and around the railway.
Thanks, Nick, for that really important information about how you can stay safe near the railways. Clearly, railways are some way that you don't want to trespass on, and those hidden dangers could potentially kill you. Well, that is all for our rail safety broadcast today. But next week at the same time, we will have Tim Vousden-White from the British Transport Police, and he'll be talking to us about the known trespass risk locations that you need to be careful about in your area. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay safe. See you next week on the Learn Live channel.
I just remember looking round and seeing Sam trip. All I can remember is looking in her eyes when she was gasping. I was giving Sam CPR for so long, I just got so tired, I was exhausted. Every time between breaths I was screaming for help. Yeah, sorry mate.